Today's episode is brought to you by True Classic Tees. Come on, man. You know they make the clothing, shirts, sweatshirts, sweatpants for the casual person, the one that wants to be comfy, the one that wants to have a little bit of an athletic build up top, but have a little room to play in the midsection. Oh, you see this hoodie? It's one of theirs. Shout out to True Classic Tees, man. This is what they do for you, man. They create that type of comfort, that type of loungewear that you need when you're watching sports, when you're kicking it with your family and friends, or you just want to get lost. All right, but the thing that I also love when we talk True Classic Tees is the fact that we have a promo code, and that code is MOATS. You use that, you get 25% off of your purchase at trueclassictees.com. Like I said, man, you can't go wrong with them, man. They have a plethora of options, though, from hoodies, sweatpants, long sleeve t-shirts, short sleeve t-shirts, shorts. Check them out. True Classic Tees. Salute them. Mazi Smith, 6'3", 337 pounds senior, number 58 from Michigan. 48 tackles. He had 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Versatile as heck in terms of interior D lineman. I think he's a true 3-down player. And I think he's good at a lot of stuff. I think he's stout versus the run. At him, double team. I think he can chase as well. Generates good pressure in pass rush situations. Plays with good effort. I think that, when you talk about him chasing stuff down, he does that. He has really good technique. I watch him. I was like, he's like a poor man's Larry Ogunjobi to me. Like, that's the player that he kind of put me in the mind of while I watch him move and how Larry, think about Larry, athletic as heck, could make plays. Would you say he's great at one particular thing, though?
No.
But really good at a lot of stuff. Not technically Cam at anything, but above Wormley, above DeMarvin, above anybody else.
Just a solid NFL player.
Absolutely. When I think of Mazi Smith, I think of that. The cons, he's not the most fundamentally sound. More consistent than Keanu, but it's kind of like Larry Ogunjobi. He's going to have some plays where because he's so athletic, because his get off is good, because he's able to make plays by just putting a foot in the ground and going, he's not always going to use his hands. He's going to go in that thing with his shoulders. And if he gets a step, he's going to make a play. It's going to disrupt. It's going to dent that line. But the issue, like we see with Larry at times too, is when you're playing the more fundamental guys, you're not always going to just win with your first step. You're not always going to just blow by this guy. And that's the part where I think you can get it coached up. But that's why I feel really good about him as well. I think that, and another con, like I said earlier, he's good at a lot of stuff, but I don't think he's great at one particular thing. And he can get in trouble at times because of the technique. It doesn't happen as frequently, like we said, as Keanu, but that is one of those things for Mazi where it's like, if you get you some good, hard, consistent, like NFL coaching, like a true position coach is going to get on you and that's all they focusing on, I think he becomes an even better player. But that's the one thing that when I looked at him right now, I'm just like, he has to be just more fundamentally sound with his hand placement, with his get off. Because pad level, he plays with good pad level, but his hands aren't always the best.
Who do you like between him and Benton? My takeaways initially was I don't know if Mazi can play the nose tackle like Benton.
To the same level, yeah.
At the next level.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right in terms of I don't think there's as much bad stuff out there with Smith last year.
It depends on what we're looking for specifically. If I just want a nose tackle who can moonlight with some of the other stuff, I'll probably lean more Benton because I think that he, outside of Siaki, I think he's probably the next guy at nose, true nose tackle. But if I'm looking for somebody that I just want to have flexibility with, play him at the nose, could play him at the 3, could play him at the 1. Hey, if Cam goes down, I can get some pass rush out of him. Hey, if Cam is here, I need a run. Man, go over here and play this spot. I think Mazi is that guy. And that's kind of like when I'm stuck with it. They both good, though, man.
I am, too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm stuck with,
I could go back
bro.
And forth with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Siaki won. I think he'd be a fine pick if we got him in the second round.
I think we would really enjoy Siaki if it's 32nd in that range.
It feels like a Steeler pick.
I feel like we would love Siaki. Watching his tape, I get it. I forgot, man, it's been because it was multiple people that had reached out and kept talking about Siaki. And I remember we even briefly talked about him last week.
People are always bringing him up in the chat.
Yeah, but when I actually got a chance to dive into his tape, man, I get it. I do, man, because he fits what we would want schematically, the way that he plays, the physicality, and in our division. I'm like, bro, that looks really good to me, man. Really good.
So What were the other defensive tackles we talked about? It was
Carter, Brian
Brian
Brisset,
Does
and
Siaki break into that top 3? You have him over Brisset?
They're different. So think about all those guys. Like when I think of Jalen Carter, we said that Jalen could truly play nose if he wanted to, right? Because just how big and athletic he was. We said with Brisset, he could, but he's more like Tuitt. We weren't going to put Tuitt over the nose. Tuitt is a 5 technique.
He's kind of like Smith and Benton in a way.
Yeah, he gives me more of that. But I think Smith and Benton, they're not as tall, but they're wider. So that's why I think they bump in and can play nose at a better level. Whereas when you look at Brisset, he's built like a 3-4-5 technique, or even a 4-3 DN. He almost could fall into that, you know. So like that's kind of how I look at him. Whereas when we're talking Keanu and we're talking Mazi, those guys are built like if they were in a 4-3, they're not bumping out to play DN at the NFL level. I think that they are truly going to be 3 techniques and 1 techniques, but because of their like build, you can bump them in and play nose tackle. Whereas Siaki, you don't even have to play a game. Yeah, Siaki, you don't even have to play. It's like, yo, he's a nose tackle. Like, yeah, we're good.
Who would you take if you're the Steelers? Pick 32. Brisset falls. Siaki's there.
Jeez. Pick 32.
Yeah, let's say that's our only option for the pick.
It's either Brian Brisset or Siaki Ika.
I think I guess.
Give me Siaki.
I think I do too.
I'm gonna go Siaki. I'm bringing back Larry O, and I'm gonna have me just a beefy monster interior portion. Because for a fact, he is going to solidify the run defense in base. That's it. It was
damn good last year.
Like seriously. But I think this is an upgrade. This makes it even better because he's not Stillman. He's winning the grass. You're not single blocking this guy. He is a handful. Kind of like what's the boy over in Baltimore right now? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on him. Dang,
I am too.
Yeah, all good. But just that type of just a guy that you're not going to be able to move, a guy that you're going to have to account 2 guys for in the run game. That's what he does. Whereas Brian Brisset, if I'm losing Larry, then I'm bringing in Brian because I need that flexibility. I need a guy that can really go out there and give me some penetration from the 5 technique that can really cook if I need a third down and I need you to go to this 3 technique. I think Brian gives me that on a higher level. But they're just different in terms of like what we're asking.
Sure.
We said we talking about a Casey Hampton, a Haloti Nada, a Vince Wilfork type versus a Stephon Tuitt, a Cam Hayward, a Chris Wormley type. They just different in that vein. Yes, they're both D linemen, but very different in terms of like what they specialize in.
And this Brisset is more athletic than Hayward and Tuitt and all of them. Yeah. But you go back to the productivity. Is the productivity the same? Is he the same football players, those guys?
Yep.
We don't know. I feel like a lot with him, going back to what we were talking about. Whenever we graded him and Cansey and Carter, I was like, I think he's the most like projection type of guy, potential guy.
Yes.
And you just got to see it. You got to envision it. I think us as a coaching staff, us as an organization, can plug him in and he could do things here.
Absolutely. Oh, and shout out to T-Wavy. It's Travis Jones. That was the dude in Baltimore.
Sure, yeah, they drafted him last year.
I was like, bro, I could not think of his
they
name.
had a good draft. Why are the Ravens like...
Yes, bro.
They've been having some good drafts recently.